Now, for more insight about the meeting, we are now joined live by Zhang Xin, a research fellow from the School of Advanced International and Area Studies of East China Normal University. Welcome to our program, Mr. Zhang. Well, China has indeed been very actively involved in regional development, and now with the implementation of Belt and Road Initiative, how can better cooperation, both political and economic, develop between the SCO member states?
First of all, I would say it's a crucial step for the member state to take to better coordinate between the current SCO framework and the other existing either major framework or major initiative. For example, Russia-led Eurasian Economic Union, and China proposed the Belt Road Economic new initiative, especially the so-called Silk Road, New Silk Road Economic Belt. Because SCO now is expanding in its functionality. Its traditional focus is on security and regional stability. But as we see in the past few years, key member states are pushing very actively to add or expand on its economic dimension. So in that regard, I think it's time to think about whether on the state-to-state level, there are concrete steps that can be taken to better coordinate between these different programs. For example, the Eurasian Economic Union and the Belt Road Initiative, there will be some conflicting customs regulation and the rules. So at this SCO summit, I hope the national leaders will sit down and discuss concrete steps to coordinate and to facilitate customs clearance among these member states. I think second is, I think it's also time for a member state to think about concrete steps to enhance the level of cultural exchange as well as commercial exchange on a micro level. So far, SCO as well as the other regional major initiatives are fairly top-down and state-led. But I think that to make these grandiose plan work, it's fundamentally important to let the micro-level agents, including universities, research institutes, especially firms, different types of enterprises, to be an active participant. I think there's a huge potential, a huge gap now to be filled. I think SCO member states can do a lot in this regard in the next few years.
Right, and as you mentioned that apart from the cooperation in the political and economic field, cooperation on security is also very important, and actually member countries have been seeking increased security cooperation. And according to your own view, what might this increased cooperation on security will look like?
In the past few years, as I just mentioned, the focus of SCO is primarily on the security and regional stability. We've been witnessing different type of annual military or security-related exercises among military forces from SCO members, and that's a key part of security collaboration so far under the SCO framework. But I think in the intermediate round, I think there are a few steps that can be taken. For example, one is to enhance the level and the width of information and intelligence sharing. There has been a lot has been done, but I think there's still huge potential in that regard. And secondly is, in terms of security, so far the focus is on the three evil forces as proposed by the China side. But I think the concept of security is expanding too. Particularly in this SCO region, if we may say, another major threat for regional security and stability comes from so-called non-traditional security, including, for example, trafficking, drug deals, and illegal immigration, etc., etc. So the next step for SCO member states to step up their collaboration is to focus on or redirect some of its attention or priority to these non-traditional security threats. Mm-hmm. In this regard, I think it's not only the national state that should be involved. there's great potential for other non-state or semi-state agencies or organizations to be involved too, particularly in those social or economic related issues in the non-traditional security threats. For example, water resources, how to better manage cross-national, cross-border water resources or other resources that are crucial for national welfare. It is not only the related national government's responsibility. I think other groups, such as NGOs or other social groups, should be involved in joint management and joint management of these new types of regional security.
Right.
So I think these are probably two of the major aspects that can be further reinforced.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zhang Xin from East China Normal University.